Listen to this. You're listening to a wobbleboard, a musical instrument invented by one of these three men. What is your name, please?
My name is Rolf Harris.
My name is Rolf Harris.
My name is Rolf Harris.
Only one of these men is the real Rolf Harris. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Orson Bean, and Kitty Carlisle. On to Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Brought to you this week by new self-polishing Aerowax with jet-age plastic for the tough, long-lasting shine that never yellows floors. New Aerowax. Good evening, panel.
Good evening, Bud.
Oh, my. It's such a joy always to be with you. I have to say that because it is. It's absolutely true. Makes the evening, makes the week, and everything else. Please open your envelope and follow along as I read. I, Rolf Harris, am a comedian and singer. As a hobby, I paint. On one occasion, I was painting a picture on a Masonite board. I was in a hurry, so I put the Masonite over a stove to dry. Pretty soon, it started to get hot. I snatched the painting off the stove, started to fan it in the air, and as a result, made one of the major musical discoveries of the 20th century, the Wobbleboard. I quickly incorporated the new instrument in the accompaniment to a song I had written and was about to record. The unusual bloop, bloop, bloop sound made by the Wobbleboard helped sell over 750,000 copies of the record, which is entitled Tie Me Kangaroo Down Sport. Signed, Rolf Harris. Panel, these three gentlemen all claim to be Rolf Harris, composer of Tie Me Kangaroo Down Sport. You've heard it, Peggy?
Yes, I love the
suppose
song.
you start the questioning.
Oh. Number 3, is your wobbleboard considered a percussion instrument?
Sort of.
Number 1, how do you play this wobbleboard?
Manipulating the wrists.
Thank you. Number 2, do you have to heat it to play it?
No.
No. Number 3, Tie Me Kangaroo Down Sport must be Australian, is it?
I wrote it in England.
Thank you. Number 1, what's a koala bears eat?
Oh, mainly gum leaves.
Number 2, what's a dingo?
Dingo is the Australian wild dog.
Wow, how about that, Orson?
Well, I was up to now humiliated to say that I haven't gotten over to the Blue Angel yet to see Rolf Harris, and now I'm glad, because I would have known him and had to disqualify myself. I know he's working over there. Number 2, Rolf Harris, one of your lines says, watch me wallabies feed, boys, watch me wallabies feed, they're a dangerous breed, boys. I'm sorry, folks, I got carried away. Why are they a dangerous breed? What is a wallaby?
A wallaby is a small... you got the quotation wrong, by the way. A wallaby is a small species of kangaroo. It's a different shape, slightly smaller.
Was it one of the other beasties in the song is dangerous?
No, you got the dangerous bit right. It's the boys was wrong.
Number 3, is the cockatoo native to Australia, as is mentioned in your song also?
Mainly in the bush.
Save Buddy Bell, folks.
City.
Number 1, do you know who George Antile is?
George Anthill is an Australian painter.
Number 2, can you tell me what tempera is?
It's something to do with egg mixed with paint. I'm not sure. It's a method of painting.
Thank you. Number 3, how big is your wobbleboard?
What?
30 inches by 35 inches.
30 inches by... And you manipulate this with the wrists?
Well, by bending it with the wrists.
And number 1, what is Masonite?
Swedish hardboard is what they call it in England.
Like plywood?
Yes, it's a prefabricated mixture
Number
material.
2, why did you put this on the stove to dry?
Because Tom Poston wanted it that way. Tom?
Well, I'd like to ask, number 2, are you Australian?
Yeah.
What do koala bears eat?
Gum leaves, mainly. The eucalyptus leaves. We had the question earlier.
I don't know, but... How do I know he was telling the truth, number 2? Well, the reason I asked you is because I thought they ate only eucalyptus leaves. Is that right, number 3?
They do eat a lot of mostly eucalyptus leaves and other leaves.
And other leaves?
Yes.
I heard in a zoo that they had to keep koala bears alive by importing eucalyptus leaves to them. Is that
Not
true?
necessarily. We grow it right down there in Tasmania.
No, in American zoo.
That's all the time we have. Unfortunately, it was developing rather interestingly, I think. So will you mark your eucalyptus leaves now, or your ballots, I don't care which, but mark them at once, please, for the one you think is the real one, without consultation, and vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will be awarded $250 for every incorrect vote. Are all ballots marked, panel? Very well. Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 2. It says in the fact sheet here that he's a comedian, and I thought he was pretty funny.
Peggy Cass.
Well, I spent some time in Australia, so I voted for number 2 because he's very jaunty, like all those Australians.
And Orson.
Well, number 3 looks like a full-blooded Tasmanian to me. He says he's from Tasmania, and I believe Rolf Harris, whoever he is from Australia. And number 2 threw me off with the bird in the bush, so I voted for number 1.
I see. Kitty.
I voted for number 2 because he knew about tempera, and number 1 didn't know that George Antile is famous for electronic musical instruments, and I thought maybe if he were the real one, he would know. And also well, all right.
All right, so we have 3 votes for number 2, 1 for number 1. And with that, we come into the truth area to find out immediately which one of these gentlemen actually is the one who has written this song. And I want to show you something now that your minds are all made up and your votes are in. This is the Wobbleboard.
Of course it is.
A genuine article. We have persuaded the real Rolf Harris to sing us a bit of his song, the Timey Kangaroo Down Sport. So will the real Rolf Harris please stand up and sing for us?
You remember the song starts off with the bass fiddle goes, and then the guitar goes, and I say, there's an old Australian stockman lying, dying. And he gets himself up onto one elbow and he turns to his mates who are gathered round in the studios in New York. And he says, watch me wallabies feed, mate. Right? Watch me wallabies feed, mate. Watch me wallabies feed. Hey, they're a dangerous breed, mate. So watch me wallabies feed. All together now, time me kangaroo. That's where the chorus comes. You're not going to leave me singing the chorus, am I? No? Let's try it. All together now, time me kangaroo down, sport. Time me kangaroo down, fantastic. Time me kangaroo down, sport. Time me kangaroo down. Once again now, time me kangaroo down, sport. Time me kangaroo down. Time me kangaroo down, sport. Time me kangaroo down.
Rolfie, thank you very much. Thank you. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is John Bulbeck, and I'm a correspondent in New York for Reuters News Agency.
Thank you, sir. And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do, sir?
My name is Bob Harrow, and I'm the chief photographer for American Export and its Branson Shipping Line.
Well, in checking the score, we find, I'm sorry, that the panel was real smart, and that means a smaller take-home pay for you, I grant you, but there was 1 incorrect vote, 3 correct, and for that 1 incorrect, $250 coming your way from Aeroax, as well as a gift package of all the fine products and the makers of Aeroax. We hope any monetary difference from what you might have received was more than made up for by the good time you had. You certainly gave us a good time. We thank you for that. Good night, and God bless you. Team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Marie Casablancas. My name is Marie Casablancas.
My name is Marie Casablancas.
Panel, please follow along with me as I read. I, Marie Casablancas, speak 6 languages. I've been a secretary, a high-fashion model, and a modern dancer. I have posed for some top-flight contemporary artists and have appeared in some 23 motion pictures. In 1960, I went to Tokyo. I decided to study Japanese flower arranging. I enrolled in Sugetsu School of Ikebana, where I took a 2-year course which qualified me to teach this exacting art. Before receiving my diploma, I had to adopt a man's name. The man's name I chose was Kiksui, which means chrysanthemum in water. Signed, Marie Casablancas. Three lovely ladies all claim to be Marie Casablancas, teacher of flower arranging. Let's start the cross-examination with our flower arranger par none, Kitty Carlisle.
Thank you. Number one, do you know the name of the system whereby in Japan they grow vegetables in water?
No, I didn't.
I was only reminded of it because of the beauty of your name. Number two, what kind of motion pictures have you been in?
I've been in French Cancan, Grand Manœuvre, many others.
Aha. Can you tell me who directed Can?
Jean Renoir.
Thank you. Number three, how long, oh, it says here 2 years. What do they teach you in 2 years?
Well, how to arrange
It takes
flowers.
2 years?
Yes, it does.
Why is it so long?
Because there are like 40 different ways of arranging the flowers.
And the flowers have long stems. Tom Poston.
Number three, do you know what a contraction is in modern dance?
A contraction? No, I don't.
Number one, do you know what a release is in modern dance? Do you know what that term means in dancing?
Release in modern dance, it's all release. Expression of self.
Thank you.
Peggy Katz.
Number three, what is a bonsai tree?
I beg your pardon?
My Japanese isn't so hot, but bonsai, B-O-N-S-A-I.
Bonsai tree.
I don't know, I'm sorry.
Number two, do you know?
It's a small tree.
Thank you. Number one, how long, well, who is Merce Cunningham?
Merce Cunningham.
Yes.
I don't know.
Number two, the Japanese use a tall, a medium, and a little thing to arrange flowers. What does that mean? They're 3 different heights. It means something.
It's 3 different dimensions, base, 3 different base.
Orson Fiend.
Yes, number two, I used to hang out in a little joint on the Ginza in Tokyo. Where is the Ginza? The Ginza.
Ginza is a district of Tokyo.
Number one, do you agree with that?
Yes, all the cabarets are there, the amusement.
Is it a district?
Yes, it is.
Number three, there is a theater in Tokyo named after an American. Do you know what the name of it is and where it is?
No, I don't.
Number two, do you know?
No, I don't.
Number one, tell me about Zen and the art of flower arranging. Zen Buddhism and the art of flower arranging.
Zen is a religion.
Did you study it in connection with flower arranging?
No.
That's all the time we have. So whatever you may have studied from these questions, make the most of it now, if you will, as you mark your ballots. Mark them at once, without change, no consultation, as you vote, as before, for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All ballots marked?
Oh.
All right. Tom, for whom did you vote?
Well, I must say, I thought that these ladies were certainly lovely. I voted for number 2 because I didn't get what I considered a satisfactory answer about the modern dancing. But they were, who cares? They were beautiful.
Peggy.
Well, I voted for number 2 because a bonsai is a little tree because they stole one from the Botanical Gardens last year in Brooklyn. And I read about it. I remembered the name.
How about that? Orson.
It's a shrunken tree, but who's counting? Well, they were all wonderful. Now, the Ginza is actually a street. It's the Broadway of Tokyo, not really a district, although it's... And I was torn between actually 3 and 2. They were all good, and I voted for 2.
Kitty.
I voted for number 3 because number 2 did give marvelous answers about the bonsai, but the Ginza bothered me. And number 3 was the only one who sounded Spanish, and I think the name is Spanish, and they all look like chrysanthemums in water.
All right. There again, we had the same kind of a breakdown as the first round. They had this time 3 for number 2 and 1 for number 3. So let's see what that does to the charmed area of truth as we learn which of these three charming young ladies actually is the one who teaches flower arranging. Will the real and Marie Casablancas please stand up? Panel, you're getting much, much too smart, I tell you. Near unanimity twice here in a row and right both times on the major amount. Number one, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Sushi Borta and I'm housewife.
And number three, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Susanna Newton, and I'm in the advertising department of Sabina Airlines.
Well, I'm sure I don't have to check the score. You probably a little bit ruefully added it up already and found there was only one incorrect vote. But that's still $250, ladies, and we hope you had a good time along with it. That comes to you by way of Aerowax, of course, our sponsor, as does a gift package of all the fine products from Aerowax. Thank you very much for being with us. Good night, and God bless you. Team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is William Ludwick.
My name is William Ludwick.
My name is William Ludwick.
Follow along once again, if you will, please, with your copies of this story. I, William Ludwick, am in charge of the design and flight testing of the huge balloons flown in Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. This year, we flew 6 balloons, each with an average capacity of some 8,000 cubic feet of helium. Each balloon required 30 to 35 men to control it. This Thanksgiving, our balloons represented Donald Duck, Popeye, Happy Dragon, Bullwinkle, Elsie the Cow, and Dino the Dinosaur. As for 37 years in the past, my men faced the hazards of theater marquees, lampposts, gusty winds, and small boys with sharp instruments. Signed, William Ludwick. And these 3 gentlemen all claimed to be, you heard them, as did I. William Ludwick, they each said they were, man in charge of the Thanksgiving Day Parade balloons. We'll start with one of the stars of the Broadway hit, Never Too Late, Orson Bean.
Bless you, buddy. Mr. Ludwick, number 2, you don't blow up this dinosaur, do you?
I'm a windbag.
How do you blow up these things?
We use helium.
Number 2, who is Tony Sarge?
Who is Tony Sarge?
I meant to say number 1.
He was the first designer of the balloons.
Number 3, do you know what store in Boston sponsors the Thanksgiving parade?
No, I don't.
Number 1, do you know what store in Boston?
I would guess Feline's, but I don't know.
Number 2, do you know?
No, I don't.
Number 2, in other words, do you just work for Macy's?
No, I don't.
You work for the outfit that makes the...
That's correct.
Do you know what store in Philadelphia sponsors these things?
No, I don't. They don't use balloons.
They don't?
Kitty.
Number 3, who is Jack Strauss?
He is the one of the parade directors from Macy's.
Thank you. Number 1, how long does it take you to blow up one of these things?
About 40 minutes.
Is that, or where do you do it?
Where the parade starts on 7th Avenue.
Out in the open you blow them up?
Yes.
Huh.
Number
Number 2, what is your greatest hazard?
Well, the greatest greatest hazards are the lamppost and theater marquees.
Thank you. Number 3, when these things are all finished, they get down, what do you do with them?
We deflate them and roll them up and...
You use them again?
Yes.
Tom.
Number 2, who draws Bullwinkle? Do you know who owns it?
No, I do not.
Number 1, do you know?
I do not.
Number 3?
It's a King picture, I believe.
Thank you. Number 1, is there more than one Macy's parade? More than one Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade?
Not that I know of.
Number 2?
No, sir, there's not.
Number 3, do you agree
No.
with that? There isn't?
No.
What do they keep asking me to go up to White Plains for?
That's the road company. Peggy Cass.
Number 2, recently some large prehistoric animals floated down the Hudson River. Could you tell me what they were?
I believe they were dinosaurs.
Number 3, what kind of an animal is Bullwinkle?
It's a moose.
Number 1, are these animals out of work the rest of the year?
Yes,
outside
they
of
are.
Christmas?
Yes,
They
they
just
are.
folded up in their boxes.
Yes.
Sad. Number 2, do these 30 or 35 fellas run alongside the animals with ropes?
Yes, we call them handling lines.
Handling. Oh. What about the poor pedestrians with all those fellas charging down the street?
Well, they try and sneak under the barricades.
I see. Number,
That's it. That's it. So get a hold of your handling lines and mark your ballots at once. No change permitted once marked, of course, and no consultation while marking. So mark now, please, for number 1, or for number 2, or number 3. All ballots are now marked. So, Tom, for whom did you vote this time?
Well, I voted for number 3. I was sorry that he didn't know Jay Ward, that brilliant loony who owns and does the Bullwinkle show. It's not a cartoon in the newspapers at all. It's a TV thing. I don't know if King Features owns any part of it. Yeah, but I voted for number 3 anyway.
Peggy, what is your choice?
well, I voted for number 3. Because Jack Strauss owns Macy's, and if I owned Macy's, I'd be one of the directors of the parade.
Oh, I thought the opposite.
Orson.
Well, number 2 knew that there were no balloons in the Philadelphia parade, and I don't know that, but I figure he's smarter than me, so I voted for him.
And Kitty.
I voted for number 2 because although Mr. Strauss may very well be one of the directors of the Macy Day Parade, that is not his full title, and I don't think he'd like being called just one of the directors of the Macy's Day Parade. And number 2 really had a lot of very pat information.
Well, this is the first time you divided evenly tonight. 2 for number 3, 2 for number 2, none for number 1. So let's see what luck you've had. You've had good luck the first 2 rounds. Let's see what we do this time as we learn now which one of these gentlemen actually is the one who is in charge of the Thanksgiving Day Parade balloons. So will the real William Ludwick please stand up?
Oh, no!
Jack Strauss probably never felt so safe in his life. Well, let's find out about the other 2. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you do, sir?
My name is Al Winfrey. I'm vice president of the Sarah Coventry Jewelry Organization in Newark, New York.
And number 2, what is your real name, sir? What do you really do?
My name is Frank Shaw, and I'm a liquor importer.
I'd like to tell you, so you don't worry about Bill Ludwick losing his job or anything. His official title is rather neat. Special Development Engineer in the Industrial Projects Division of the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Well, in checking on everybody here, we've now found out what we want to know, and it's a better fooling this job than before. We have 2 rounds when there's only 1 incorrect. There were 2 incorrect, and twice $250, gentlemen, is $500. Better take the other bunch out for a soda or something, I think, so they don't cry too many crying towels away. This comes to you from Aerowax, as does a gift package which you'll receive on your way out of the fine products from the makers of Aerowax. And, of course, our sincere thanks for being with us. Good night, and God bless you. Later this month, To Tell the Truth will begin its 8th year of broadcasting. And despite that fact, people still come up to me and ask me, how can your panel be so smart? How can they make those questions up so fast? They must know the subject matter in advance. Well, let me state again. The panel has absolutely no knowledge of who or what is in the show until they open their envelopes right here on this stage. And what they take out of those envelopes is just a copy of the biographical statement that I read for each team of challengers. Now, how can our panel be so smart? They're smart people, that's all. Well, smart people, that's all we have time for tonight. Now, don't forget to join me again at the same time next week, and I'll be with you, of course, tomorrow afternoon on the daytime show. And until then, this is Bud Collier saying good night for Aerowax and reminding you to tell the truth. Good night, everyone.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.
Hi there, this is Red Skelton. Watch Clem Cadiddlehopper grow instant wheat for his guest Cesar Romero on the Red Skelton Hour. Tomorrow night on most of these stations.
To Tell the Truth has been brought to you by Concentrated Heat Liquid, the liniment to relieve minor rheumatism, arthritis, or backache pain for hours. This is Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth. This program was pre-recorded.